Hello everyone and welcome back to the Chobo Star League Round of 32 Group D. Going into map 1 between Allin's Tech 4 and Amon's Rejects Philip on Coda. Spawning in the 3 o'clock position from Allin, it is Tech 4. And spawning across the map, it is Amon's Rejects Philip. Interesting to have a ZVZ on Coda. We'll see how this turns out. This can be a pretty explosive matchup, as the early game is typically dictated by speed zerglings and bailings. Whether or not one player wants to be aggressive, I guess our question is going to be answered as Tech 4 8 pools. Let's see what this Zerg player chooses to do in response. Are we going to have a build order win here, or is Philip here going to be able to deflect this early aggression? No gas so far. I'm not sure if there is any kind of 8 pool, 8 gas bailing builds. I'm just thinking this is going to be Zerglings here. Still no gas, so typically if you see bailings, I believe you put down your extractor first. And looks like he already has his rally point set right to the Zerg's gas. And we are going to have a 15 hatch come out of Mr. Phillip here. Let's see if he chooses to make extra drones on top of this. Some Zerg players like to get up to 16 drones even after the hatcheries before they start their pool, even gas. Some players start a gas before pool after going hatch first in this matchup, which can be risky. So this Overlord from Philip might be able to see these Zerglings. Let's see if he makes an attempt to stop them. And I do believe Mr. Phillip has seen these Zerglings moving across the map, as indicated by the player selection. Spawning pool comes down. Let's see if the Zerg player chooses to attack the drones or the hatchery. I'm thinking he's going to move right up the ramp and try and get a spine crawler on the Zerg creep. Let's see if he notices it. He sees the drone, and there comes the spine crawler. Now this is all economic damage the Zerg is taking. He does have a harvester lead, and these Zerglings really aren't getting the surface area they need to fight effectively versus these drones. Spinecrawler has to be cancelled, but these drones really can't contend with the Zerglings at this stage in the game. A lot of them have been weakened by their attack, and if he chooses to attack, the Zerg player can just move the Zerglings away and force economic mining, but he's just going to choose to fight, and this Zerg player goes down to 2 drones. This is going to be game here. Philip calls GG. Wow, All in Tech 4 takes a really quick game and secures a 1-0 victory in this best of 3. That is just a build order win. There's really nothing you can do about that except, put down his spawning to move faster. Don't believe you can get bailings out quickly enough to deflect that, as that is such a quick attack from Zerg. Not much you can do. Now this is interesting to see the APM difference between the two players. Not sure if Philip wanted to get a quick lead in this series, or maybe he's just not confident in this ZVZ mirror matchup to go up against Tech 4. Moving right along to the second map. It's going to be played on Bridgehead, Chobo Star League, round of 32 Group D, between Allin's Philip. Amon's Rejects Philip. And Allin's Tech 4. Good luck, have fun is called between the two players as we start this map. Like I said, this can be a pretty explosive matchup in the early game. I mean, until you have that Roach Tech out, that strong, beefy unit that's able to tank damage, really susceptible to the Zergling and bailing. players start the game by making a drone. I don't think the 6 pool is even good in this matchup. As I believe, not. No 8 pool just yet. So looks like these players are going to maybe play a normal opening for a ZBC matchup, which I believe is hatchery first on 15 into spawning pool. We'll see how they change it up. Both players are mirroring each other's builds, choosing to create that overlord. And they're just going to continue droning right up, as is expected after you create an overlord. No reason to start that without the intention of using the supply. So both players droning right up. It looks like it's going to be a 15 pool from Tech 4. Sorry, 15 pool from both players. Now this is a safe opening. If you don't know what your opponent is doing, don't know if they're going to choose to be aggressive in the early game, the 15 pool can help deflect any kind of early aggression as we saw last game. So both players fearing some kind of reprisal from last game's cheese choose just to play safe. 15 pool into 16 hatchery, looks like. Philip's hatchery is going to go down slightly faster than Tech 4's. Not the biggest difference, but just something to note. Straight away into gas now. It looks like Philip here is neglecting to take his gas. Oh, there he goes. Oh, and looks like he canceled it. Just looking at the mini-map. And he's... oh, there he goes. Starts it now. Starts another overlord. Both players are just going to try and gain some information. Really, at this point in the game, you want to see how much gas your opponent has mined. Have they mined more than 100 gas? Have they started Zergling speed? You know, one thing you can do as a Zerg player is start it, let your opponent see that and cancel it. Start some early roaches. Not too common. Most players like to defend with Zerglings and Banelings at this stage in the game. Quite a heavy investment to make several roaches at this point in the game. Both minerals and gas, you can use that. You know, you could mine less gas, more minerals, and take a faster third. Tech 4 starts his Zergling speed. Philip mining that up to 88 gas. We'll see if he chooses to start that or if he's going to put that gas somewhere else. We'll see. And there he goes. Both players started Zergling speed. Creep Trooper coming out for Philip. Looking to push that vision down his ramp. Possibly use the mobility advantage to defend a potential third base. And here we go, both players putting Baling nests down and continuing to mine gas. Looks like we have 3 for Philip plugging away. Now, not sure if both players want to be aggressive with this. You can put that Baling nest down with the anticipation of aggression coming from an opponent, and this will allow you to defend any kind of Zergling attacks. Interesting wall, and I really like this from Philip coming down. Uses an evolution chamber and a queen to block in his main ramp. Haven't seen that before. That should be able to deflect quite a bit of Zerglings if he's able to get a spine crawler and any additional queens behind it. Looks like Tech 4 is pooling up Zerglings. Philip now has seen that. We are moving across the map now. We'll see if he chooses to make Balings and maybe bust through this wall. Philip is continuing to make drones. He starts a spine crawler. That's pushing it. You might want to consider making a safety one, because this is what can happen in this matchup. A bunch of Zerglings run across the map, you have no units, and your wall-in isn't tight. And that is not a good thing, as quite a few Zerglings move into the Zerg base. No Eunice, and once again, drones are not good against Zerglings. He's going to take down this queen. No injects, no mining, and this is game-winning damage right here. Bailing takes out quite a few Zerglings, and you know, damage is still being done. Another queen is going to go down. There's our lack of injects. There's Bailings morphing in the Zerg player's main, Philip's main base, but are those going to be completed? He looks like he's using to go for drones. Oh, 1, 2. Oh, all the Zerglings get cleaned up. That is not what you want to happen. Gonna check the harvester count. We have 36 workers for Mr. Philip and 27 for Tech 4. Now, I was mistaken. Philip is still in this game. He has quite an economy lead. Let's see if he's able to handle this continued aggression. 5 Bailings morphing at the top of the ramp, and looks like a dozen for Tech 4 morphing at the bottom in vision of this Overlord. A single Bailing moves across the map, gets a connection on some Zerglings. That's not what you want to happen. Looks like Tech 4 wasn't paying attention. Looks like he chooses to start a third base. Kind of signaling some break to this aggression, but that is a lot of Bailings. Let's see how this micro turns out. The rocks come down, and just 1 Bailing gone. Now there's 0 Bailings for Philip, and Tech 4 is just moving into his main base, looking to do more economy damage, and tons of workers go down. Tech 4 takes a huge supply lead, huge economy lead, has a production, has a third base on the way, and this mineral line is unprotected as drones are forced to be pulled to fight these Zerglings. I don't think this... Looks like he chooses to make more Bailings now. Looks like he wants to seal this game off. I don't think he's going to be able to use this third base for any kind of economy. Probably going to be wanting to end this game as he knows he has his opponent up on the ropes. 13 Harvesters to 26 as Tech 4 moves into the Zerg player's main once again with Bailings, forcing that Zerg player to move away with his Zerglings. Kind of dancing back and forth. Bailings are quite good against light units. Misses a connection there, but he has such a Zergling lead. 3-8 looks like. GG's called. Tech 4 takes a quick 2-0. That was a pretty exciting game as Bailings are just so good against Zerglings. Really a micro-intensive matchup at that point in the game. Until you get to Roaches, you're just at the mercy of your opponent throwing Bailings at you. If they so choose to. Now he had the information, he saw the Zerglings. If he had gotten the Spinecrawler down quickly, if that wall-in was tight, he would have been in a much better position as he had a Harvester lead earlier in the game, and that just compounds over time. But Tech 4 takes the game, and he's going to be playing blue in our next series. Players are going to be vetoing their maps and should be taking a small break here. Stay tuned to the Chobo Star League round of 32 Group D.
I hear the rain, and it sings to me the ballad of your name. I'm listening, and the voices echo in my dreams again. Another day, let the tides come in to fade you into gray. Another day, let the memory of your name
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Chobo Star League Round of 32 Group D between Amon's Rejects, Baloo, and All Inspirations Tech 4 ZVZ here on Coda. This is the start of the best of 3 winners match in this group. So both these players are looking to move on to the round of 16. We'll see how this best of 3 starts, as ZVZ once again can be a rather explosive matchup in the early game. The Zergling and Bailing are just such powerful units against what Zerg has at their disposal at this stage in the game. Let's face it, Queens and Spinecrawlers can be surrounded and gunned down by just a flood of Zerglings. So it's a rather delicate balance at this stage in the game, and you're really at bay to what your opponent throws at you. I mean, is he going to be using Bailings? Is he going to be using an early pool? You know, both players are going to look to get a natural expansion up, but at the same time, you can lose to just a build order loss. So Blue's going to start this game off. I believe that was a 10 pool. He's going to make another drone. Should make an extractor and follow it up with a second one, and then an overlord. Our Zerg player Tech 4 is going to be moving across the map with a scout now. You really don't see this too often. He's going to be wanting to see what his opponent's doing. Has he chosen to make a hatchery? Has he chosen to do this 10 pool, 10 gas, was it? Still, Overlord is almost done. I think that's what he did. He's going to saturate it 1, 2, 3, get 3 drones. Now, I believe this is just going to be used for Bailings. Really not enough time to get speed out at this stage in the game. Zerg player seeing this gas doesn't even have to check for Earth Pool. He knows what's happening. There's no expansion. He's going to move back to his base, start his own gas and spawning pool. Now we'll see if he chooses to make a spine crawler. Looks like he's going to put down an expansion. Not sure if this is the best idea as 6 Zerglings move across the map. We'll see how he's able to defend this. Zerg player mines 100 gas. I was mistaken. He starts speed. And he is just going to be putting on a lot of aggression with Zerglings. Queen's going to pop out. He's going to have access to injects. He's going to be able to make a flood of lings here shortly. Queen pops, starts to inject immediately as these Zerglings move into the Tech 4's base. Now that spine crawler is pretty big. He's going to be able to defend his queen, defend his pool, defend these drones mining gas. I'm not sure if he's going to choose to start a bailing nest, or if he's just going to rely on his own speedlings. His speed is going to be quite a bit behind Blue's now. The onus is on Tech 4 to defend this expansion. He's put down an equal number of Zerglings on the map now. Blue takes the advantage on the low ground, is going to force the retreat from Tech 4. His own queen pops, he starts speed now. This is going to be a few tricky minutes for Tech 4 as he's forced to defend with just slow lings against speedlings now. One queen is not going to be able to cut it. Should start another one to block this ramp, because this is what's going to happen. As soon as this hatchery goes down, he's going to retreat away from these broodlings. Let the cooldown on those go away. They're going to be killed, and he's going to start his own bailings. Blue's looking to end this game. Now that he's destroyed the Zerg player's hatchery, if there's one thing left to do, move up the ramp and kill the Zerg player. Here we go. 5 Bailing's going to be moving up this ramp. Let's see how those spine crawlers immediately just goes right for it, guns that down. And there are no Bailings here for Tech 4 as that queen goes down. Now there's just drones left. Forced to pull against Zerglings, speed Zerglings at that. 2 Bailings morphing right in the middle alignment. I don't think Tech 4 is going to be on this map much longer. GG is called. Blue takes it, game 1. And a quick, decisive victory. Don't believe one of these EVCs has moved past the 10-minute mark. These players are opting to choose rather aggressive strategies. Now, Nat 2 was Blue's pick, Moonlight. Let's see if he has some interesting, aggressive play planned for this map. We're going to be moving right along as soon as our players have their respective races chosen. Now this is the interesting thing about a best of 3 is Tech 4 going to use this knowledge of Blue's aggression to alter his opening. He did scout early, but that really wasn't enough if you really want to contend with a 10 pool gas speed bailing open. You really need to start your gas as early. Sorry, not as early, but just get that bailing nest up. You need bailings to defend Zerglings, speed Zerglings at that. Or Queens and Spine Crawlers. Now, you could go a gasless style to defend that, but you're really at the mercy of your own mechanics, because if you have enough Zerglings, you can DPS down the hatchery at your natural before Queens are really able to contend with the number of Zerglings you're able to produce on one base. So we'll see if players neglect to take a natural expansion in this game, as we're moving right along into Moonlight Madness. Chobo Star League, round of 32, Group D, spawning in the 3 o'clock position, All Inspirations, Tech 4, down 1-0, 0-1 in this best of 3. And his opponent spawning across the map, it is Amon's Rejects, Volu. Up 1-0 in this best of 3. We'll see if he chooses to play aggressive or maybe opts to take an early expansion now. We see a drone moving across the map rather early. Not sure what this is about. Looks like he's gonna want to scout his opponent, see if he chose to be kind of cheesy. You know, maybe he's kind of on tilt from that quick loss in this series, and Blue just wants to check to make sure he's not doing anything cheeky, we'll say. Tech 4 has the same thing in mind, moving across the map with not an early as a scout, but it should be able to get across the map right in time to see, you know, a natural expansion going down or a 15 pool going down. Gas first from Tech 4 right in the face of this scout. We'll see if he chooses to lay down a spawning pool in front of his opponent. Looks like Blue chose to make his own gas in response. Our Zerg player canceled his gas, puts down a spawning pool of 15. Thinking he's maybe trying to get a mind game out of Blue, who is just starting to mine gas right in the face of his opponent, puts down a spawning pool. This is going to be some really aggressive play. In response, Tech 4 puts down his own gas, and we are going to see some crazy aggression here at the start of this Game 2 on Moonlight Madness. We'll see if these players choose to make their bailing nest quicker than one another, make their speed faster. But we'll see. We'll see how these players choose to utilize the gas they've started to mine. Now, I'm sure, as you all know, these Zerg players have not taken their natural expansion. Really dedicating these resources and larva to early game units and aggression. Blue utilizing an extractor trick to get that queen out faster. I really like that. Nice clean use of his resources. Now, once again, Tech 4 is putting down an expansion in the face of a gas first from his Zerg opponent, and I'm not sure if that's the wisest use of those minerals, as he could definitely use a Spine Crawler and Zerglings, as his opponent Blue is moving across the map right now with a small group of Zerglings. I'm sure he's planning on making more. And now here's where Blue does have an advantage in that speed, as you can see on that production tab. That's quite a few seconds in front of Tech 4 now. Blue is going to get the scout off on this base in the rear. Is going to notice his opponent has been mining gas. Should know that Bailings could be on the way. Now both players making Zerglings. No Bailings started just yet. Blue starts where he starts too. Let's see where they're at. Tech 4 has a group of Zerglings in his main, but he's gonna use those to protect his queen and his mining drones. Now these two Banelings can catch those Zerglings out. Ooh, nice connection. Two Banelings go down, but Blue definitely has control of this low ground. He should be able to, put some pressure on that natural expansion. This Tech 4 is pushing out more Zerglings. He needs to get an army out to contend with these Banelings. Micro's two Zerglings out to try and, gun these Banelings down before they come into contact with, his own Zerglings or workers. He's able to snipe those down to the Queen and a couple Zerglings. That's good, but this hatchery is still taking damage from Baloo's Zerglings. I think he's running out of room now. I mean, Tech 4 has got some Banelings out, and he's got a larger group of Speedlings out. Should be able to defend his natural expansion, as both players might be looking to move on to a later stage in this game, but as you can see, there's quite a few drones mining away here for our purple Zerg player. He does have an economy lead right now at 21 harvesters to 12. Continuing to morph Banelings, Blue is looking to put on even more aggression as several Banelings are being warped into the middle of the map. Those should be moving across towards the purple Zerg player to do damage. Tech 4 is just building up units, building up workers. He does have a larva advantage as his hatchery was put down and is up and mining even now. Blue's just finishes. It's going to be quite a bit of time before he's able to get injects going, even mining going at that base. As these Banelings get huge connection with the purple Zerg players' units. And oof, those are quite a bit of drones going down as he's forced to pull his workers mining. This is doing quite a bit of economic damage. Took down a big amount of Zerglings, and a flood of Zerglings come in, snipe the Queen, taking down drones. GG's called as Blue takes a decisive victory once again in this CVC matchup. That should solidify his position in the round of 16 as, he moves on to play the winner of the losers match. Now those were some pretty decisive games from Blue. Not sure if he always goes that aggressive in the games or if he just feels like he's that much better than his opponent. He wants to end them quickly, not exacerbate a lot of his, fortitude when it comes to playing a group stage of a large tournament like this. You have all been watching the Tropo Team League. Star League, round of 32, Group D. So we move into the losers match here. We're going to take a small break here to invite our players and get our map vetoes down. Stay tuned. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Chobo Star League Round of 32 Group D between Paragons of Perfection Killua and Amon's Rejects Philip. Now this is the lower bracket of this group, both players looking to move on to the round of 16. So they're going to have to get through another player to solidify that position. Spawning in the 3 o'clock position, it is Amon's Rejects Philip. And spawning across the map, his Protoss opponent, it is Amon's Rejects Philip. Sorry, Paragons of Perfection's Killua. Mr. Philip was our player from last game. Not sure how the Protoss player likes to approach this matchup, as, really they kind of dictate the pace of the game. It's up to the Zerg player to respond accordingly to what the Protoss player decides to throw at them. So most likely he'll choose to expand quickly. As this being a 4-player map, it's kind of hard to play rather aggressively, as you don't know the spawning location of your opponent. And given enough time, the Protoss player can, put up a wall and have adequate defenses for any kind of early Zergling aggression. Looks like the Protoss player is going to go Gateway. Let's see if he decides to take a gas, or if he just goes straight away into a Nexus on his low ground. Zerg player chose the hatchery first at his natural. And let's see if he continues to add on drones and maybe looks to lay down an additional hatchery before his pool. Rather greedy open. Protoss player has taken a gas. Looks like he's going to be wanting to get out those tech units faster. Possibly a Mothership or a Stalker. We'll see. Hasn't chosen to saturate it yet, so most likely he's gonna, take a quick expansion. Opting to take that in lieu of gas after scouting the Zerg player. Now this is the stage in the game where it's really up to the Zerg player to scout how much gas the Protoss player has taken. Has he saturated his natural expansion quickly? Is he continuing to make probes? Is he looking to take a third base, or is he going to want to put on the aggression? I'm not sure if that's going to be the case. You cross spawns on such a large map like this. Zerg player has adequate time to push out creep, get out units for a good defense of any kind of 2-base Protoss play. We'll see. If he has his timing downs and is able to execute a swift, clean build, he might be able to, shut down a third base, even potentially kill the Zerg player, if he so chooses to be that aggressive on 2 bases. Not sure how much the Zerg player has scouted of the Protoss. Don't think he has seen the base. He has eliminated the positions they could spawn at, I believe. Moving across to the bottom left position with his drone now, he's going to remove that spawning location and identify